Hey man, how you doing?
Not too bad, Marco. You?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you very much for taking the time to sit down and talk with me about the music and other stuff.
You're very welcome.
All right, let's get right down to it. Resolution is your first full-length album, but you've been a band for over 7 years and have released a number of EPs. Can you give us like a brief overview of the previous material that you've put out?
Yeah. Well, we started in 2005, and we released three EPs here in Ireland. It was different lineup at the time, slightly different type of music to what we're playing currently. I suppose we just kind of progressed from then to now. They were titled Fragment Piece One, Two, and Three. Funny enough. They were received quite well. We got a lot of online reviews and that sort of stuff just to get the feelers out there to see what people thought of us at the time, and it helped us as a stepping stone to get to where we are now. I suppose in hindsight.
Fantastic. And how is Resolution different from those EPs, and how is it similar?
Um, it's similar in the sense that a lot of the writing was done by myself back then, as was with Resolution, myself and Dave, the drummer, and the music. I suppose a lot of people would say has got a lot heavier since those EPs. Maybe slightly more technical in the sense. I suppose that's just a natural progression as a band. I think the songwriting has come on a lot as well. I suppose we learned a lot recording those EPs as well. We recorded them ourselves too, so we got to really realize how much a professional studio can help a lot in terms of production. So on production side of things, Resolution will be far superior to anything else we've released, as will be the songwriting and the songs as a whole.
Fantastic. I actually, as you know, I heard the album and I reviewed it, and it really sounds absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, we're very, very happy with the production side of it. We used Alwyn, he's a producer here, he's based in Dublin, Alwyn Walker. Um, we've known him for a good few years now, and he knows us quite well, so it worked very well with him because he knew exactly what we wanted, and particularly because it was only myself and Dave recording with him. We really needed that extra hand because as a two-piece, you kind of, especially when you're in a recording environment, it's nice to get a different insight as well. It's also nice to have the control of just two people as well, rather than having five or six or four, whatever other bands would have. So we helped a lot in that. And production-wise, the studio we recorded in was Westland Studios in Dublin City here, and we recorded some of the drums, most of the drums up north, in Northern Ireland, and the guitars up there as well. But overall, we got to use his studio, Westland Studios, and we used it to the best we could. And I'm really happy with what he's done with it. So.
It really sounds fantastic. And another thing that kind of piqued my interest about the press release that I saw is that you decided to eventually release the album for free download. What made you go that route?
Well, there's a few reasons why I wanted to do it. I suppose, especially now that, like, I don't know whether the news or HMV in Canada has been closed down, but certainly has here in Dublin in recent times. I mean, the likes of, the regular day CD shops and DVD shops and all just seem to be closing down a lot. But we were planning on releasing this album for a free release before all that happened, anyways. But for a few reasons, because it's going to be able to be downloaded illegally as soon as it comes out anyway. There's no stopping that, and we've no issues with that at all. And we'd rather get the music to as many people as we can, excuse me, rather than trying to sell it and get a product bought off someone who doesn't know anything about the band at all. So at least they can just download it for free and from us rather than having to download it from the torrent site. I'm sure a lot of bands out there would rather have a fan base by giving their music for free rather than having no fan base but keeping the music for themselves. So it works in our favour to release it for free as well.
That sounds great. Actually, do you see the industry, the music industry in general, moving in that direction? Generally speaking.
I, yeah, and it has been for a good few years because I mean, when I was growing up, I bought loads of CDs. I own a lot of CDs. I buy all my albums. But I think people like that are a dying breed, especially when it comes to someone asks you, did you hear a particular song or a particular band? I mean, you can hear them in a matter of 2 seconds singing it by YouTube, or then you can download the album wherever you want. So there's no like back when you were growing up, when I was growing up anyway, you wanted to hear a new band, you had to go out and try to find the album. And some albums you couldn't actually find because they weren't available. But that's kind of gone out the window now. Everything is available for everyone, literally at their fingertips, which is great in the sense. But I kind of look back and go, I wish it was available when I was that young as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You were based in Vancouver for a while, as far as I understand. What made you go back to Ireland, if, if that's an okay question to ask?
Yeah, no, absolutely no problem at all. Yeah, we went to Vancouver. We were in Vancouver for a year, and then we did a Canadian tour, Canadian-wide tour. While we were in Vancouver, we were planning on recording an album, our debut album, and we always wanted to use Alwyn, who I spoke about previously, to record our debut album. And since he's based in Ireland, we were thinking, okay, well, we want to record the debut album, but we also wouldn't mind touring Canada, so we got the great idea of pretty much driving halfway home, which would be the length of Canada, as well as in there, from as far as Vancouver, as far as Quebec. And so we did a tour on the way and then flew back from Toronto. So it kind of suited us.
Wow, that's a long drive. I actually moved from Toronto to Calgary, and we drove here, and it's a very, very long drive.
Yeah, I think we did 3.5 weeks or something maybe, but we wouldn't. It wasn't straight now because I think we did 16 dates in total. So we were maybe gigging every second night, every night, to help us along the way. But it was a very, very, very enjoyable experience. Lovely country, I must say. Great to see it as well.
Yes, great scenery, and I also
Yeah,
enjoyed the trip as well. I wish I had more time to enjoy the scenery as I was coming here. All right, moving right
I'd
on.
say it was grueling trying to do that drive.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say it was grueling kind of just driving direct. I mean that's a long way to go.
Yeah, it took us 3.5 days
Oh,
of 12-hour driving, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
exactly.
All right, so I particularly don't know much about the music scene in Ireland at the moment. I know back in the day, I'm sure U2 was the big thing, of course. But how is your type of music received in Ireland? Is there an extreme metal scene, or is it a sort of an isolated incident kind of thing?
No, it's like the metal scene here is really, really good. Actually, it's a tightly knit community, I suppose is a good word for it. But there's a great website actually, metalireland.com, and it's like a forum stroke website, but it's really well laid out and done and organised. The guy who runs it, he really knows his stuff. But the scene here is great. I mean, I think like Mastodon are playing here in June. I mean, they be selling out the venue that they play. Mightn't be a massive venue, might hold about 2,000 people, and your Devon Townsend is coming over as well, and likewise, I mean, bands like that draw healthy crowds in Ireland, and there is I suppose on a smaller scale there is a very healthy scene too. There's a lot of bands that would be gigging local. I suppose in a sense that it's like if you look at Ireland, it's a small, very small country in comparison to Canada, but the way I've seen it, because I got a bit of an insight into Canadian metal scene, especially the Vancouver scene when I was there, it's like the Canadian metal scene, but just on a smaller level because geographically we're a lot smaller, But it's the same sort of thing. It's not it's not like popular. It's not on the radio. It's not all in your face and that. But I mean, I don't know anywhere where metal music is like that. So it's a very healthy scene, very tightly knit scene, but it's a good scene. And as I said, like the likes of Mastodon and Devon Townsend and that come over here and play to very healthy crowds, and they keep coming back. So the audience is here, I suppose, too.
And does that audience support local artists as well and international acts?
Yeah, I suppose like a lot of places, I mean there is some bands like the likes of Primordial would be probably one of the biggest Irish metal bands. I mean, and their latest album was really, really good. I must say it's probably my favourite of their release. But Primordial played here only a few weeks ago, and they sold out venue as well. Now, if you're talking about bands that wouldn't be on the scale of Primordial, like kind of smaller bands that wouldn't be world known, I suppose. Yeah, I mean it's a healthy enough scene. I mean, there'd be gigs on every weekend, especially around Dublin, Cork, Belfast, like the major cities. And depending on the band, you get a good turnout. But it's like, I suppose it's similar to Vancouver. I mean, you can play in Vancouver in the Cobalt, and when that was around, and you get a very, very healthy crowd. And then you play on a Thursday, and there wouldn't be, as many people as will be there on Friday or Saturday. So it is a healthy scene, and there is good support for local bands. As I said, MetalIreland.com it shows all that, showcases the Irish metal in Ireland. Like.
Fantastic. Actually, when I post the interview, I'm gonna make sure to post a link to Metal Ireland so that people can go and check it out.
That'd be great. Yeah, it's a very good site. Even for anyone looking in, I mean, it gives you a great insight as to what's going on. And it's not just about Ireland. Obviously, it's a metal-based forum. It's like most forums they talk about everything.
Fantastic. My next question is regarding the songwriting aspect of it. How do you plan to follow up Resolution from a songwriting perspective?
That is a good question. I suppose with Resolution, a lot of the material was written with. I wasn't, I suppose, taken. Well, for starters, some of the songs were written before I started doing the vocals, so I started writing vocal melodies over riffs that I'd already written. Whereas with the new material that we're writing at the moment, it's more current. The vocal ideas are more current. There's some riffs and ideas coming from just vocal ideas as well. So it will change the dynamics of it slightly, but for the better, I suppose. We don't want to release the same album twice,
Of course, it only works for AC/DC, right?
Someone said that to me today, actually. What's the story with AC/DC? They've been releasing the same album for the last 20 years.
Well, they should take a look at Iron Maiden, maybe,
True. Yeah, that's true as
well. What are your plans for your immediate future, though? Are you planning to take Resolution on tour there in Ireland?
Well, currently we're just working on pushing this album. As you said, that we're releasing it for free online at the end of March. And we're working with a few different publicists. We're working with Asher Media, actually, from Montreal. We're working with some guys in London as well. And our main focus is just pushing this album out and getting it heard by as many people as we can, using those mediums, and the likes of this interview with yourself. And anything after that with regards to touring and stuff. Touring's going to take a lot because there's only two of us in the band, and we haven't fully decided on how we want to approach the live aspect of what we're doing. But we're working on something at the same time as well, which is quite different too.
Fantastic, fantastic. And are you planning to coming back to Canada to play eventually?
Well, yourself, I mean, if it's financially possible, we'd love to play everywhere, but if it comes, it'd be great to be able to go and play in Vancouver again, or, anywhere in Canada actually, because everywhere we played on the tour was great, but financially it has to be possible as well. I mean, there's going to be a lot of work put in to actually get this onto the stage, and in order for us to be able to perform in different countries, it would need to not cripple us financially, basically.
Yeah, no, I understand. The logistic part is basically the hardest part to solve when it comes to projects that are based on less people than it would take for the music to be played live, right?
Yeah, correct. And I also think that, I mean, it's not just like the likes of going to play in Canada or England or any other country. It'd be the same with us playing in our capital in Dublin here. It'll take a lot for us to get it on stage, and it's going to cost a lot of money to get it on stage as well. So, I mean, if the opportunity is there, and the opportunity presents itself, and we get the chance to do it, we will do it. But until then, we have no solid, set in stone plans to do so.
All right. I think that's everything from my side. Is there anything you'd like to say to our readers that hasn't been covered yet in the interview?
Well, I suppose the only thing is, as we spoke about downloading, the album's going to be free for download on March the 30th from our website, but I'm sure it's going to be on a lot of other sites as well, SoundCloud and all that other stuff. So download it for free. I mean, it doesn't cost anything, just a few clicks of a button, and see what you think. Fantastic.
Thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us, Paul.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a good one.
Take care, man.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.